Hey all, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at something that was featured as one of the fan-voted worst Transformers of 2024 by way of the Transformers Studio Series Gamer Edition Decepticon Soldier. Now, I realize that this mold has its issues as I previously looked at Barricade, but I've also heard that the Decepticon Soldier remold is actually better than the Barricade. Is that the truth? Well, we're going to find out together in the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share. Of course, subscribe, and while you are at it, light them up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. Helps me out a ton, let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that's in the description down below, also in the description down below, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link, check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course, you can hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. And like I said, this is the War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron Decepticon Soldier. Naturally, it's going to not have the, how can I put this, like the glowing purple that the game had, but is it a good homage to that design, and is it a fun and interesting Transformer overall? Well, we're going to find out together when we head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And courtesy of Christmas and Starscream Wife, here today we're taking a look at the Transformers Studio Series Gamer Edition War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, I don't know which one, maybe both, that this guy appeared in. It is the Decepticon Soldier. Of course, would follow Barricade's lead, right? And this appeared on the worst list for 2024, the fan-voted worst list. I wanted this because I'd heard that it was actually better than the Barricade, which I admit is pretty darn rough. Looks great, fun transformation, but brutal articulation. I heard that enough was remolded here that this is actually much better than that, so I wanted to check it out myself. That said, I did look at Barricade, the Gamer Edition Barricade, in episode 1083. It was way back in June of 2023, so about, what, a year and a half ago, I guess? That's why we have the Gamer Edition lad in his vehicle mode here. I already showed the transformation going from robot to vehicle, the way he comes in a package with Barricade. While this is somewhat remolded, it's still basically the same transformation, so I'm going to show it now going in the other direction. Before we get to him, though, let's look at the packaging first. And the packaging is the packaging with the soldier here in both alt mode and robot mode. Over here, a close-up of his face. Looks very much like Master Chief to me from Halo. That's the vibes I get from this. Full body over here. Of course, on the back we have the product images in both robot and alt mode. And I suppose I should point this out. If you open this up and you pull this out, then you get that backdrop. I don't know exactly what backdrop this is. Does it say on the back? Usually it says what this is. No, it just says backdrop included. Whatever. It's something from the game if you want to use them. I personally think, like, these are neat, but I don't know how many people have the space to put in all of these backdrops. They're cool, but I think you would have to be a very either specific type of collector or you need a lot of space to use these. He comes with a dandy sheet of instructions, and honestly, this side shows the bit of transforming you have to do fresh out of package. His feet are flipped up. Kind of what's on the back of his legs is up over. Like he's half car, half robot in package. This just shows you what to do to sort of flip that. The other side shows the actual transformation. Our guy has the exact same blaster as Barricade. Barricade's is cast in black. His is cast in gray, but it's the exact same thing. The bummer here is that while it can connect on the forearm when you remove a forearm, it doesn't have any handle for him to hold if you want him to use both arms. And it fits into a square peg hole on the top of the roof, just like it does with Barricade. You can see the difference in the vehicles here. Barricade looks like a glorified Decepticon Batmobile, as where the Decepticon Soldier looks a little more rounded, if you will. And here's a closer up look of the car. I love this. It rolls really well, gray tires, but again, this is Cybertronian, so I'm not, I'm not hateful of it. I kind of like the touch of purple here. I like the mix of the green and the grays, and the green is a nice shade of green, like it has a sheen to it while also being matte. It's very militaristic and I like it. Rolls just fine, even though there's not much clearance. I find that everything looks fairly cohesive. On the back, we do not have the big thruster like we have with Barricade. It's just straight down. Also, you'll notice this slot here. I mean, if you want, you can take the blaster off the top and slot it in the back. That's where it will go in robot mode anyway when not in use. But yeah, rolls well. I mean, not much left to say about the alt mode. So without any further ado, let's get into the transformation for this guy. We're going to begin by picking off this whole back section. It's the whole back. It comes untabbed pretty nicely, actually. And we're going to bring all of that just down around there on the back for now and leave it there. Now, the arms here are a little bit different because unlike Barricade, these actually go down over a couple of like little nubs here as well. So they're a little bit different than Barricade. So we need to actually pick it up and pick it up off those nubs. Barricade, you just sort of pull them out and angle up the shoulders. With the shoulders angled up, we can go to the hands and open them up and flip it out. Now, unlike Barricade, the hands are able to rotate freely. Barricade's arms, because of a flap coming down over the door, means his hands, though they have articulation, are actually really limited. So the hand articulation here, actually better. Same on this side, of course, we open it up, we take out a hand, we rotate it around so that the hand's facing the right direction. Cool, wonderful. Then we're going to take these pieces here on the legs, and just like Barricade, we're going to pick them up and bring them down, and we're going to also split the legs. We're going to rotate the waist around, and we're going to flip down the feet. I'm going to stand this guy up, we're going to reorient the camera, and we're going to finish him off. Okay, if you haven't done so yet, close up the back here, rotate it around, bring it in. When you bring it in, there's that hole that you use for his blaster goes over this square peg right there to solidify the backpack. Also make sure, though they don't really tab in, but you should take note that when you bring the leg down, there is a little cutout that's supposed to fit in right here. It doesn't tab or anything, it's where it guides into, I suppose. In package, the wheels are this way. I've seen lots of pictures with the wheels this way. It's up to you if you want to keep them that way and call this good enough. But the instructions do show that you turn them around so that the fender is out. Unlike Barricade, who you're supposed to take him up on his thighs. But boom, in the end, here we have the Soldier in his robot mode. And I love the transformation. I loved it for Barricade. I still love it here. If anything, I think I like it more for a couple of reasons. The first reason that I think I like it more is because with the hands, rotating them around is not a nuisance because there's no panel behind it that sort of mitigates which way you have to turn it. And two, because the arms, the way that they like tab in and slide down over, like almost like a puzzle piece, you slide them back up. It's very satisfying. Other than that, the rest of the transformation is the exact same as Barricade. I'm going to give it a 10. I think I gave Barricade's a 10. I think I'm going to give this a 10. I love the transformation. I think it's so cool. And then we get to the look. Again, I'm not a super gamer guy, honestly. So I'm going to look at this and I'm going to say, you know, the Decepticon logo's there. We're definitely missing some of the, like, Energon-ish, purplish, like, highlights that is typical for Fall of Cybertron, War of Cybertron offerings. Like we had it with Megatron, with Optimus, right? I mean, it is what it is. I'm still going to say it's a 9, though. Like, you definitely know it's the Fall of Cybertron Soldier, right? So, a 9 and 10, 9.5. The articulation for the guy. Again, this is where with Barricade, things really fell apart. How is it going to be with this guy? Let's see. We have a head that looks left and right and up and down. The shoulders can go really all the way around. The T-posing ability is super minimal. Super sad about that. Very minimal. If I take the backpack off, nah. Even if I take the backpack off, I can't get any more T-posing. There is a bicep swivel that's better than on Barricade, because on Barricade it always pops this off. You can still pop this off if you want and put the blaster on there. If you're wondering, hey, what do I do now with the leftover arm? You come to the back, and using that peg, you put the forearm into the... You should be able to put the forearm into the peg hole that's back there on the back. Like that. Right? So it stays back there anyway. The wrist has a full rotation, elbow to 90 degrees. Getting the arms up. The hips are... They're limited, but I think they're going to get you what you need, honestly. Thigh swivel, that's all right. It's okay. Better than on Barricade. Knee to 90 degrees. Unlike Barricade, we can actually get a knee to 90 degrees. Still no ankle tilt. So the articulation is still pretty darn limited here, but it's not as limited as it is on Barricade. In fact, let me stand this guy up next to Barricade here for a moment, just so you can see the two of them together. I think we can see it pretty good there. How's Barricade shoulders? I mean, Barricade doesn't get much of... Gosh, Barricade doesn't get much of a T-pose either. I think I would take having a 90-degree knee over the slight ability to T-pose with Barricade. I think overall, if Barricade's articulation was a 5, then I think that the Decepticon Trooper here is probably about a 6. He was a 9.5, this is a 6. Overall, I would say that this guy's probably a 7.5. It's okay. It's all right. I don't think people would want to necessarily troop build a ton of these because while they look good, they're not the most functional things. Do I think it's better than Barricade? Actually, I do think it's better than Barricade. Barricade is hindered by this panel inside his wrist. It really hinders his wrist rotation. Barricade's car pieces that are on the back of his legs are cumbersome enough that he cannot bend his knee 90 degrees. Neither of these guys have a ankle. By the way, this guy does have a waist. I didn't show it, but he does have a waist because you should have known that from Transformation, right? Overall package, I think Barricade looks cooler, but for functionality, I think the the Decepticon Soldier is the better offering. If you're only going to get one version of this mold, I would say get the Decepticon Soldier. I think overall you will be happier. Me personally, despite its imperfections, I actually wanted 2 because I wanted 2 to flank Barricade in my display. So Starscream Wife was good enough to get that. Overall score, I'm going to say, again, if Barricade is a 6 or a 6.5 overall, then I'm going to say that the Decepticon Soldier is a 7 to a 7.5 overall. And here we are, and here they are, technically. So my whole goal was to have 2 of these Decepticon Soldiers, imperfect though they may be, to flank alongside Barricade. Now the Barricade I always thought had a really cool transformation and a great alt mode that looked very Batmobile-esque, but the robot mode greatly suffers for it. A lot. It can barely T-pose, the elbow can't go to 90 degrees, the knee doesn't really bend that well. It looks pretty. It has a neat transformation, but the articulation on this is trash. Then we get to this guy that looks an awful lot like Master Chief from Halo, if you ask me. I certainly see comparisons to it. But I do think that the remolding here was very helpful. I mean, we do get an elbow to 90 degrees. Not over, but at least it's 90 degrees. The T-pose is still quite lacking, which is pretty disappointing. But I understand with the way the shoulders are done why that's the case. It's too bad, though. The waist is just the same and free-flowing. But the big addition here is the fact that this guy, even with the kibble on the back of the leg, can actually bend his knee 90 degrees. It's a small thing, but it really helps with his ability to pose at least more dynamically than this guy. Here's the thing. neither the Barricade nor this is the best mold, and honestly I still think that there's things that could have been done with both to improve them. But if you are only going to have in your collection one copy of this mold, and you are wondering, hey, should I get Barricade or should I get the Decepticon Soldier, do yourself a favor and get the Decepticon Soldier. Like I said in the review, if this guy's a 6.5, this guy's a 7.5. Sure, there's a lot of issues here, but he looks great, has an excellent transformation, and honestly, at the end of the day, I think the transformation is a little better than Barricade, and the articulation is improved. Did it deserve to be on the worst list? Maybe, because honestly, 2024 was just so strong that it was hard to find bad ones to put on a bad list. Yeah, this guy ain't perfect, but he looks cool and he is fun for what he is. If you're going to go in thinking that he's going to be one of your favorites of the year, probably not going to be the case. But if you want him to look great in a display, he'll do that. And if you want him to be able to stand on your desk as a desk bot and have a fun little transformation that you can fiddle back and forth with, he'll do that too. Let me know what you think about the Gamer Edition Decepticon Soldier from War for Cybertron, Follow Cybertron. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link, check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button, stick around, man, have some fun with us here on the channel, and don't forget, not for a moment, not for a second, that you right there, you do make a difference in the world, whether you realize it or not. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way, right here, inside the videos.